What are some of the causes that you've seen for divorce and some of the advice that maybe you could give?
I can tell you what to avoid.
Yeah, I wish I came to you maybe a year ago.
Yeah, because I know how I have saw how to break a marriage, and I have seen a lot of marriage broken in front of me. So I know what are the bad things that have been done in this marriage to end up with this situation.
Let's Talk DXB. Real conversations by real people.
Okay, Ali. Yeah. The topic, I'm just going to go straight into it. Divorced in 6 weeks. Yeah. So I got divorced in the UAE, and I had to go back and actually check the dates. So from the time that I filed to the judgment, a total of 6 weeks, which is just unheard of. So that's why I wanted to come and speak with you today, because obviously one of my amazing divorce lawyers that helped me to navigate divorce in the UAE. And the very few people, a lot of people still don't know that I'm divorced, which is fine. I'm just even accepting it myself because it all moved very quickly. But questions, I had a lot of similar questions. I didn't know you could get divorced in the UAE as an expat. How much did it cost? Was it a really scary process? Do I now have an issue with my visa? Even to that level where there's this perception of if you go through this in a foreign country or the UAE, that you'll be blacklisted. So I really thought about it. This podcast platform for me is definitely self-serving. It's healing, talking about the trauma, what I've been through, and also helping to advise. And maybe someone watches this and feels like, wow, didn't know that. So that's why I decided to reach out to you, Ali.
Thank you, Sharon.
And can I be honest? I was so nervous to call you about this. I don't. This is the weird thing with me. We've obviously been speaking a lot because as my divorce lawyer, you've helped me with the team, and I'm so grateful to navigate the process. But this is quite a different approach for me. I'm not very good at speaking openly about things. And I was like, oh, but what if he says no? What if he thinks the idea is stupid? And then I was like, no, let me speak to Ali because I know you get it. So before I go into the detail, just high level, obviously you've been doing family law for 14 plus years.
Yes.
So not new, not new to the game. You were a judge in Egypt. And the fun fact that I love about you and why I thought, let me pick up the phone and speak to you. I know you've done podcast content yourself, TikTok, 30,000 followers, impressive. And an author of a fantastic book, which I placed here around happiness. And I just thought, it's very unique in terms of having all of these talents and interests.
Thank you.
That's why I decided to give you a call. And
My
I just
pleasure
wanted
to be here.
talk through, the process, things to think about, your experience of dealing with, many different clients and examples of divorce. Yeah.
My pleasure to be here with you, Sharon, and I'm always here to help you and help the people who need help in this difficult situation or tough times that they might go through, even in a country that they have not born in, and they don't have family in, and they don't have someone to rely on in. So this might make the situation worse. So you're not only a lawyer in this situation, you're like a supporter or a therapist or a life coach or a support system for someone during these hard times. So you have to give the legal support and the legal advice to them, and also you can give the emotional and psychological support to them. So and I love doing that, and I love to be there for other people because it gives the meaning to me in life, and it makes me feel that I'm doing something that affects other people's life positively. So I'm always there for other people.
Thank you. And I definitely experienced that. And like I said, I was so grateful because there was a lot of shame for me around applying for divorce. Although I feel like my reasons were valid, I was very sure that this is the direction I wanted to take. But there was a lot of embarrassment, vulnerability. In my culture, divorce is not really a thing. You just don't do it. So being able to, openly say that to you and the team, and also get that additional support beyond this is what the law says.
Can I get very deep in this?
This
podcast?
Is what this is about.
like women, since they are born, they are getting to they are labeled and they are identified by the role that they are playing. When you are young, you are a daughter and you are a sister. So if you are a good daughter and you are a sister, you are a good human being. And after that, you are a wife. So if you are a good wife, you are a good human being. After that, you are a mother, and there is a lot of shame about being a mother. Like, am I a good mother? Like, even how hard you work to be a good mother, there is always a feeling that something is missing, and like people are looking at you that you are not doing enough effort to raise your children.
Yeah.
So there is always like, if you are not doing your role in the right way, you are not a good human being. So there is putting a lot of, men can suffer from this, but not as much as women. But if you are not doing your role in the society or in the family in a good way, there is a lot of shame and a lot of guilt around you.
Yeah.
But if you like raise awareness to this and know this and like started to find a way to put a distance between you and this shame, you will be more clear about the decision and what you really want to do in life, and you will do like your responsibilities and action without tension and without being like feeling observed and feeling judged.
Yeah, that is spot on, because as a woman, and you know, obviously I'm 36, I have a son, he's almost 3. I was married for almost 6 years at the time where I filed for divorce. So I had to battle a lot, you know, just stay, accept certain things. And then also I had to think about who am I as a person and what I stand for. And, you know, I felt like I needed to be healthy and happy to then raise a very healthy and happy child. But there is a lot of that shame. And I think even me just saying it out loud was very hard. To pick up the phone and say, I need help, I want to get divorced. It was a really hard process. So before we dive into the legalities, obviously you're a lawyer, a very accomplished lawyer, and you work for one of the largest law firms in the Middle East and North Africa. But I have worked in law firms for about 10 years. So my disclaimer to anyone listening is obviously you're here to share views that are of your own and not associated to the firm.
Yeah, this is not a legal advice.
Yeah, exactly. It's not legal advice. I feel like we need to tick that box. So, like I said, a lot of people did not know as an expat you could get divorced here. And a lot of people were a bit surprised about how quickly I was able to get divorced, because in different jurisdictions and countries, that can be a very drawn out and exhausting process. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is my personal divorce journey and how I filed and what I filed for. So when I came to you and the team, you gave me all of the options, which was fantastic, because that, again, I think it goes down to knowing what the law says and knowing your rights to remove any anxiety or fear or making wrong decisions. So you gave me all the options. And for me, I decided to file for a no-fault divorce in Abu Dhabi, the non-Muslim personal status court. And I decided to go down that route because I understood it to be a quicker, more simplified process. Each, obviously, case is different. So I'm just saying about my own experience. And I did that because the process of divorce and the thought of divorce is hard anyway. I just mentally didn't have the capacity to go through a divorce that could last 1 year. So I think the first thing that I wanted to ask, and probably even for my own learning, obviously you explained everything, but it's all a blur when you're in that process, is what is no fault? If someone wants to apply, what does it mean? How does it all work?
So actually in 2021, there is a new law that have been issued in Abu Dhabi. It's established a civil family court.
Okay.
So this is a law that is not based on Sharia principles. It's based on the civil law principles to help expats and help non-Muslim to regulate their matrimonial life and their personal life in a civil way, which is more understandable to them.
Right, yeah.
So this law includes like civil marriage. So it's as simple as Vegas, like with the passports, in 24 hours you can get married in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
It also includes a civil divorce with no fault divorce, in which any spouse can file for a divorce without the need to provide any evidence of harm from the other person.
Yeah.
And it's a very fast track process. It doesn't go into family conciliation. So it takes around 15 days, 1 month. Like it depends, but this is like the range that it might go through. Also, it has like joint custody to raise the children between the mother and father. Yeah. It has civil wills, so you can register your own will there. upon your own wishes or according to your own wishes.
Okay.
Also, if in the event of there is no will, non-Muslim heirs can apply to get a special method that will distribute the assets of the state of the deceased person in a certain way. So yeah, it's like a part of being very progressive and being inclusive of all the people and the culture and the backgrounds that are here in the UAE.
Yeah.
And all the Emirates just pursued and followed Abu Dhabi, and there is a federal law that have been issued.
Okay.
But it's only for non-Muslims strictly.
Yeah.
The law of Abu Dhabi, it can be applied to Muslim from non-Muslim countries, but the federal law is only for non-Muslim.
Yep.
And it applies the same principles and it has the same procedures.
Okay.
But each emirate has a different way to apply it.
Right.
Like in Abu Dhabi, they made a new court, a separate court for itself. But here in Dubai, the same person's status court is applying the new law. So each emirate has a different way to apply the civil family law.
Okay.
But I believe with time it will be developed and there will be more precedent and the resistance to it will be less and the knowledge about it will be more. So it will be more encouraging for other people to live here, and it will be less scary for other people to come here. But me and other lawyers should make a more effort to promote this law, because when people knows about it, they will feel more safe to be here and more like they know what will happen if something goes wrong.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it, because
that's a very high level. Like if you want to talk especially about
I mean, this could go on for hours. I know the detail of the law is something, but again, it was just to kind of give a flavor that is an option out there. Because when I was first thinking about divorce, before I picked up the phone to say this is what something, I just imagined, I'm going to go through a divorce of 2 years, mediation to check whether this is something that both parties would want to do, various rounds, and I just felt like it's going to be long, expensive and exhausting. So until you articulated the options, for me, I knew it was the right decision. For someone else, maybe it's too quick of a process, and that's everyone's personal choice of how they want to go about it.
Yeah, and the normal process of personal status in general, other than that law and other than that system and other than this court, it might be slower, but also the judges here and the judicial system is trying to accelerate as much as they can. Yeah, but it's still much slower because it requires some evidence and some procedures that has to be followed to assure the quality of the process and assure the quality of the evidence that everybody is providing. So this might take some time. So when there is no full divorce, you don't have to provide an evidence, so there is no time to investigate them or to examine them. So it's much faster. But and then for the Muslims that are living here, it's a bit slower because they have to provide a certain type of evidence, and the judge and the court has to examine them to know who is at fault in this divorce.
Understood, yeah. And for me, there's an episode that if I'm brave enough to release, I talk about, my reasons for divorce, my personal reasons. I was sure that I wanted to create an environment that was more peaceful, be able to kind of move on and raise my son in an environment that was peaceful. And I was just grateful that was an option here that I never knew about actually. So I think that's important.
Yeah, I believe it's it give a getaway for strong, independent woman.
I don't feel strong. I am independent by choice, but
financially independent.
That's a good point. Actually,
So this law and this type of divorce gives the getaway and an option for women who don't want financial support from the man.
Yes.
So I just want to get out of this quickly to move on with my life.
Yeah.
So this is an option for you to do so.
That is a very valid point actually, because I remember through the process there was an option to file for alimony for myself, and that blew me away because I was like, well, I'm filing for divorce, and they said here legally, I can request for a lump sum of money that I would expect my ex-husband to pay, which I didn't go for. This is why the whole independent financially, there was no reliance on how would I be able to do this financially. I need to seek some type of financial resolve from him. So I let that go. That wasn't my purpose. But it's actually interesting that you said that, because that might
give
not
a
be
choice.
Exactly the case. So we're talking about finances actually, because again, divorce, one of the points that came to my head is, am I going to be able to do this? It's going to be long and expensive. Now I know every case is different. So it depends on what the situation is, whichever court you decide to use, etc. But one of the things that I remember was, there's obviously fees associated to getting divorced, naturally. Translation fees, the application fees, you might need to resubmit something else, etc. But, just high level, because I know you can't give detailed fees and no one should hold you to these costs. But what are some of the basic fees? Not the legal fees, but like the basic fees if you're applying.
So actually the court fees now in the day that we are recording this is 5,000 dirhams for application.
Okay.
So this is the court fees, like without the professional
in the
fees.
no fault. The no fault option. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 5,000 dirhams per application.
Okay.
And there's like 300 or 350 dirhams for notification and other court fees. And the professional fees varies, because there is some advice that comes before the divorce, because you want to present all the options.
Correct.
And this takes some time.
Yes.
And it depends on the client and how demanding they are. So if they want 2-3 phone calls or meetings, other than another person who just needs 15 minutes to explain to them. Maybe some other people want something written, a note, a legal note, to explain the whole thing to them. So the advice that will make the process much expensive or less expensive.
And that's a fair point. As much as I say I got divorced in 6 weeks, that's from the time we filed the application to when we got the judgment. But obviously before that, you and the team took ample amount of time to explain the options, what this would look like. That's all obviously professional time. So that's something to bear in mind.
And also I want to take a chance of this moment and say I want to tell people how to be a client to a lawyer.
Okay, yes.
101.
Tell me, was I a good client?
How to be a good client. If you find someone who you can trust, ask about them, ask about past clients, the clients that have worked with them before.
Of course.
Go and sit with them, have a gut feeling about him or her, but at the moment that you find someone is trustworthy. Don't be calling them every day.
Don't call me at 1 a.m. crying saying I need you.
Because a lot of people they start taking advice from every single person on the planet and coming to you. I have a friend who tell me so. But this person don't know that this happened and this happened and this.
They don't know the details or the law.
So if you find someone who is technically good,
for sure,
and you can trust on a moral level, like a doctor, you lay down in front of a doctor
and say,
and you trust them totally.
This is how you find a good family lawyer.
But I also understand it's a very tough time for people, so they are worried. They want to make sure that everything is going in the right way. So I understand this.
It's good advice actually, and I hope I wasn't one of those bad clients. But no, it's important because it's such a vulnerable. I don't think I've ever felt so scared or vulnerable in my life. And obviously life has happened. I've gone through grief. I've lost my father. That was difficult, but this just felt very heavy. It still does feel heavy, and I'm working through trying to deal with that trauma because it's quite a lot to deal with.
And this is very understandable from our side.
And that's a good thing, the human side of it. So for me, working with you and the team, it was a no-brainer. It was hard for me to articulate and pick up the phone because, just to backtrack, obviously I used to work in the same firm as you. So we knew each other from a professional stance, and I think you're quite new just before I left. So I was with the firm 7.5 years and moved on to a new firm. And then I found myself speaking to my previous colleagues, the founder, the senior lawyer in the team. Obviously I won't say names because we don't have permission. And it was really hard. I've known them for 7 years, but I found it really hard to share this personal shame of, oh, actually, my marriage is not working and I need to get a divorce. But you and the team just gave me so much grace. I think the first thing you said is, it is normal. Because to me, it's like, this is not normal. But to go back to an old colleague and firm and ask for help and still be given so much support, I think that was for me, was like, I can work with this team for sure.
Yeah.
Because you have to divulge so much personal stuff, obviously naturally in the process. So that was another thing that I was mindful of as well.
Yeah, but like, this is how it goes in my practice. I work with like very personal information every day, and very personal details of my clients every day, and it's a lot of responsibility, but we are very mindful and careful of that. But at some point also you know how people are going through this, and you are become compassionate to them, and know how to also emotionally support them. Yeah.
And I think that's a good point. So if we take the kind of legal side and the professional side, one thing that definitely drew me to have this conversation, because I feel very comfortable talking with you, obviously, is about actually the human side. And I remember on your LinkedIn a few weeks ago, you talked about mental health and the process of going through divorce. And I was just like, thank you, Ali, for writing that. Because obviously, yes, you're lawyers. And you know, lawyers, I think obviously I've been in the legal industry for quite some time. So I see the personalities of lawyers. They're not all just suits and cold and scary. But from the outside world, it can seem very daunting having to pick up the phone and call a lawyer and go through legal proceedings and courts, etc. But you just humanize the process so much, which I think helped me to be like, okay, it is a big deal and it's not easy to deal with. And these lawyers actually get the kind of mental health side. So you would have seen a lot, obviously, in the field. So
yeah, actually, like as we were talking before the episode, like worry comes from ignorance.
Yeah.
So you like, when the light of knowledge come to you, you don't worry anymore.
Yeah.
So I believe that the proper advice in any field that you are worried about, and especially legal field, if you get the proper advice, you will become less worried, less scared, and you will become more relaxed and feeling safe. So, like, my advice is to get the proper advice in anything that you worry about, and you will feel more relaxed and safe in this process.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's what triggered me to speak with you in this platform, because I think a lot of people's insecurities is they just don't know. They don't know, to the point where someone said, is my visa going to be blocked because I filed for divorce? You know, it's just that fear. Yeah,
and asking for the knowledge, this is like the hard part. Take a lot of bravery and courage.
For sure.
Like the step to call a lawyer, or the step to call a therapist, or a step to call a friend to ask for help. This is like what differs like people who feel like live a better life from people who live a normal life, because these people have the courage and the bravery to look vulnerable in front of other people, look scared, look ignorant.
So true.
So if you pass this moment of I don't want to feel like I don't want to look like I'm a weak person, and you don't care about what other people think, but I'm asking for the advice because I love myself enough to not let myself be in this ignorance and worry and scary place for a long time. So if you pass this moment of I want to ask for help, I want to ask for advice, the quality of your life might go up.
This literally, you sound like my therapist, because I started therapy, which I've never done before. And my personality type is to put on a good front. Even going through divorce, as you know, I started a new job shortly after. So people in my company don't know I've gone through this. And there was a lot of struggle to just get up in the morning and be motivated. And each time I get ready, I go to the office, I put on a smile, I do my job, and I try and block it out. But it was actually very dangerous for me, because internally I'm like, I'm not okay, I'm really hurting, this is really difficult, and I don't want to seem like I'm weak or that I can't do things.
Yeah, it's also the struggle of like this period of time when you like fake it.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
no, I can go through this alone.
Yes.
I don't need help.
Yep.
I'm strong enough.
Yep. This slaps me in the face.
No, I go through this too, but sometimes why I don't need help? Like,
True.
everybody needs help.
True.
Like, especially when you are going, like, I can give the metaphor of carrying something heavy.
Yeah.
Like, if you're carrying something very heavy,
Yep.
you can ask for someone to carry it with you.
Yes.
So when you are carrying like an very heavy emotional baggage,
Yeah. Very heavy emotional baggage, my shoulders. Yeah.
yeah, you can ask someone to carry it with you.
Yep.
And there are people that their profession is to do so.
You've normalized this a lot. I'm still working through it, but it's true. And again, you don't hear, again, because going through divorce, some people keep it very boxed. I'm speaking to a lawyer, so I have to be professional and serious, and I don't want to come across vulnerable or seem like, that very weak person. They're busy people. But again, like speaking to you, you've actually just humanized it so much more. And I think anyone, like you said, if anyone is going through this, definitely do your research about the type of lawyer that you would need to be able to help navigate this, because it's more than just
it's like finding a therapist. Like, if there is no harmony between you and your lawyer,
Yep.
there will be so much like, you're not feeling safe, you're not
Correct.
feeling understood,
Yep.
you're not feeling heard.
Yep.
So this should be like, go through your mind when you are hiring someone.
Agreed.
Especially a lawyer.
During this like divorce process, obviously I've lent on you and the team a lot, from professional and personal, because we work together. So I was fortunate to have that dynamic. Very few family members, I've been able to share this with yet. And that's my own personal kind of shame that I'm battling with. But yes, I definitely needed someone to say, Sharon, if this is what you're doing, come on, think about this. Think about what's right for you. There is no shame. There's reasons why you've decided to go through this. It's very hard. Yes, there's a child involved, which makes it even harder, as we know. I think that's another podcast around alimony and custody, etc. But I think you need the different voices in a trusted space, for sure. I think that is important.
Honest voices.
Honest, yes. We've definitely drifted into kind of more mental health wellness, which is so
this
important.
Is what I love.
Yeah, I can tell you're passionate about it. It's like you've done your work here, which is great, because again, people will see you as Ali the lawyer in a suit and doesn't think about this other side. So you've seen a lot of things, family law, obviously. We stick to divorce because that's all I know in that field. Would you be comfortable to say, what are some of the causes that you've seen for divorce and some of the advice that maybe you could give?
I can tell you what to avoid.
Yeah, I wish I came to you maybe a year ago.
Yeah, because I know how I have saw how to break a marriage, and I have seen a lot of marriage broken in front of me. So I know what are the bad things that have been done in this marriage to end up with this situation.
Yeah.
So like there is so many reasons and so many things that you can do to avoid it. The first thing that I would say is the choice in like choosing this person at first. When you are choosing someone to be in a relationship with or to get married to, this is crucial. Like this is, you cannot undo it.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Easily.
Yes.
So with someone who is still single, who wants to get wants to get into a relationship, you should be very mindful of what you want, and also who you are, and what type of relationships that you want, to not like regret this in the future.
Correct.
So because actually also in the Middle East, and a lot of men and women get into relationships because of the social pressure. There is a certain age that you have to get married in, and if you pass this age, there is a lot of shame and guilt around it.
But that's around the world. I mean, I feel like, obviously I have friends, I grew up in the UK, I have friends that are a certain age, not married, and there's a lot of pressure. Then obviously for my dynamic, I can only speak from a culture perspective. Culturally, West African, you get married quite young and you have kids quite quickly and you stay married, etc. So that maybe puts pressure on people making decisions faster than what they would.
Yes, because you want to get married just to
get people off your back.
Yes.
No,
your mom stopped telling you get married. So like stand up for yourself and choose someone. If you want to get married like young, get married when you are young, but you should be knowing like what do you want in the marriage. You should know who you are also. Like another also very good advice when people are choosing the person or want to get into a relationship, they are talking about the specs or the characteristic of the other person, and they are not looking into themselves. Yeah,
correct.
So like, you want someone like so and so and so, but who you are, like, do you match this or you don't match this? Yeah. So you have to be on the same vibration, on the same level.
Yes.
Like in all aspects.
Correct.
To match this vibration and meet this person. So also you have to work on yourself to be the person that deserves the other person, or to be matching with the other person.
Correct.
So this is like the second thing that you can do, like in choice, know who you are, and also be deserving for the person that you are expecting or you want to get into a relationship to. Yeah. The second thing that you should avoid is like being angry and calm.
Oh, that's a weird one. Okay.
No, I can elaborate on that.
Yeah, explain.
Not angry, but if you don't like something, say it, like speak it in the right moment, in an elegant way, in a polite way, because like you are two new person start living with each other, so you start adapting. And if you like accept something now, you're not just accepting it now, you're accepting it forever. So like in a very elegant and gentle and in the right moment and in the right time, and when the other person is in a good mood, tell him like, I prefer we do this better, or like I don't like doing this. Can you explain to me why you did this? Like, because this is how you create the life you want together. And the other person should do the same, like transparency. Like what I advise.
I needed you maybe 10 years ago. Because that was something I struggled with, actually. I wasn't very good at articulating habits that I didn't like. A lot of it would come out of frustration, or I just wouldn't say anything at all. But I think we didn't communicate about expectations in a marriage, or non-negotiables in our marriage. And it just kind of followed through, and unfortunately certain behavior traits that he brought into the marriage is what led to
this is very good to talk about before like the relationship, or before the before marriage, but also during the marriage itself. You will discover a lot of you'll discover a lot of stuff, because no matter how you know a person, like you only know 40% of them until you are in the same room with them. So like as you go through life, as you go through marriage, you should like teach each other about each other, and until you find like a common space to live in. So this is not like, this is how I explain how not being angry and calm.
Got it. Yes.
Also like the third thing is boredom and taking the other person for granted. Because we're in the engagement part, we are very loving. We get
everything's good.
We are wearing the best clothes, with the best perfume, and we go to the best places. You open the door for the lady.
Paying for all the meals, surprise flowers, all the good times.
But after a while, like it's called the date your wife or date your husband. So then don't take the other person for granted.
Correct.
And always seek new experiences with each other.
Very important.
Do something new with each other, because this break the boredom and break like the rhythm that you are going through every day. So like have a new hobby. Go to a new movie, go to a new theater. Like it can be simple. Go to a new park and have a walk. So don't take the other person for granted by showing actions that you are grateful for them. And always have new experience at least once a month with each other.
I think it's about being intentional, I think, which is hard because, like you said, you're in each other's space. I knew my ex-husband for 10 years. So we dated for quite a long time, and then we were married for 6 years. But you get quite comfortable, and then life happens, and then there was a baby. But I think it is so important to be intentional. That's something that I don't know if I'll ever be married.
But also I don't want to be delusional. So sometimes this is hard
but
because
life
there is a
happens.
baby.
Yeah.
But at least like you know where to go back to. Like we have like a tough 2 years because we are raising a newborn baby.
Yes. Yep.
But no, I know that I'm coming back to this at certain point, or at least we are doing it less often, but we are doing it. So
making
this is like take a lot of mindfulness and awareness of the things that I have, because like generally this is a problem not with the persons, also with the things and the places that we are in. We get used to things, so I should like intentionally remind myself every day that I'm grateful for my health, I'm grateful for my job, I'm grateful for my house. Like mindset. You should because we always look for the things that are missing.
And that's when you go down that tunnel. It's dangerous.
So it's about wanting what you have.
No, it's true. Ali, I'm not sure if you're married, but if you are planning to get married, I feel like you've got the book to help you, because I guess you've seen it from obviously your clients. Unfortunately, some really sad cases, some really damaging. You know, families are broken through divorce, and sometimes it's the right thing to do, but other times it can be very difficult for people to accept that this is it. But you must carry it a lot, because I'm thinking of. You hear a lot, and divorce is emotional. So you're carrying other people's emotions as well. So how do you deal with that as a lawyer?
It's a very emotionally draining practice. And they have a lot of techniques and practices that I release this tension and I release this charge. Fitness, like going to the gym or going for a jog. Meditation, I do meditation like at least 5 times to 4 times per week.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to start this. Okay. Yeah, that's
like,
good.
Just like go to YouTube, write guided meditation, and you will find a ton of videos.
It's just being able to switch off though. I've tried but actually switching off. I think it's you
What
practice.
do you mean by switching off?
Like if I'm trying to meditate, I'm thinking about everything else.
Like
I'm not zoning out.
This is like someone like telling me because I'm too fat I will not go to the gym.
I'm not going to start at all, basically.
Because you are thinking a lot, you need to stick more to it. Like
I need it more than ever.
Like I said, Guru or someone who was telling that you should meditate like each day for 1 hour. And someone told him, like, I don't have 1 hour.
1 hour.
So you have to meditate for 2 hours if you don't have
You definitely need it. It's true. Sometimes fitness, meditation.
Sometimes I go to a therapist, like, because when I'm going through a very tough time, sometimes I work with a life coach.
Oh, good.
When I'm like, I go to therapist when like it's very
stressful points.
It's very stressful. I take one session every like 2 months or something.
That's so healthy. That's really good.
But usually I'm working with a life coach to the coaching helped me to focus my energy so I achieve the outcome faster.
That you want. Good.
No, I achieved what I want, but it takes more time. But when you are working with someone, they keep you accountable.
Yes,
like
true.
Each week they are tracking your progress. What did you write? Did you meditate? Did you wait to go to the gym? Like they keep you on track. So coaching is very helpful when you want to have accountability in your life.
It's fantastic, and that leads me nicely because obviously you wrote a book. So a very busy lawyer is taking time out to write about happiness. So I just wanted to tap in because we've talked about the legal side of things. How do I get divorced? How do I navigate the wellness and mental health side of things of divorce? But then equally, happiness. I'm seeking so much happiness. I'm trying to rebuild and work on what are the things that make me happy, not material things, but the true sense of happiness for me. So when I found out that you had written this book, I definitely bought it. Hence why I put it on the shelf, because I want you to sign it. And there was a page in there, I think page 44, you talked about faith. Now, obviously everyone has different, some people are religious, some people are not. I've been a Christian for years, not a disciplined one. You can't, I don't know everything in the Bible, but I think during this season of divorce and just disappointment, I think, is when I'm really tapping into my faith, because I want to use, ideally, this pain for some type of purpose. Like, to me, it's so wild that this is my reality. So I wanted to find out what made you write about happiness and faith, and where did that come from?
Actually, I reached the point in my life where I was in public prosecution in Egypt before being a judge.
Oh, that's tough. Yeah. Okay.
And I was in a place where I'm supposed to be happy, but I'm not happy.
Right. Okay.
So,
yep.
And also with before this, like in parallel, I was reading a lot about human development.
Okay.
I got timeline therapy practitioner certificate and neuro-linguistic programming practitioner certificate. And there was like self-learning a lot. I was very passionate about human development. And at the same moment, I was not happy being a public prosecutor when I'm supposed to be happy. And everybody look at you like you are so ungrateful.
Yes.
And there is too much shame being around, not being happy.
Yep.
So I found myself in the route that everybody's talking about to pursue happiness, but I'm not happy.
Yeah.
So I realized that I might, if I continue on this route, I might be 60 or 70 and be not happy.
Got it.
Because a lot of people that have taken this route, they are saying that they are not happy.
Yep.
So let me get out of the queue
Good for you.
and study happiness deeply for sometimes.
Yep.
And one way that will make me commit to study happiness is to write a book about it.
Yeah.
Actually, to teach to other people.
Yeah. Yep.
Because like there is a scientist called Richard Feynman that's saying if you want to learn something, teach it to other people.
Yeah, true.
So
Very true.
So one of the ways to commit to teach other people something is to write a book about it. So I started. This is like what the motive. Like I want to find out what is happiness truly, not what like all the people are talking about it and they are not achieving it.
And the materialistic things that people associate to happiness, which doesn't really make them happy.
Because like the problem is with like I can say it's everyday happiness, like the happiness that everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
It's always about the future.
Correct.
It's not always here.
Yep, very true.
It's like when you are in the school, when I get into university, when you are in university, when I'm at work, when I'm at work, when I get married, when I get married, when I get children, when you get children, when they went to school. And you find out at your 60, so what is happiness? I went all of this way to find it.
And I'm not there yet. Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, it's actually being happy in the moment. Yeah, that's very true.
There is it's not as simple as that because it's very, it's quite complicated. It's like quite like there's certain elements, certain aspects that you will have to cover in your life to be happy.
Yeah.
But like it's not like the happiness that everybody's talking about. So this is what motivated me or pushed me to write a book about it.
I'm still reading through it, but I just found it so practical and really useful. And for me, everyone's like, obviously I'm not happy now. I'm working through rebuilding and learning what, happiness looks like.
But part of being happy is working into something meaningful and have something to look forward to.
Yes.
So if you are like progressing in the way of happiness, you will be happy in the progress.
Correct.
Or at least you will be less sad than yesterday.
Correct. Yeah. And this is what I'm trying to do. So starting therapy to talk through to get to a better place mentally and for my health. Doing a podcast platform to then be able to learn to be vulnerable, which is a thing I struggle with, and talk about what's actually happened. These are all steps that I'm taking to work on
and
that.
Also self-expression is a very important, in being happy. Like one of the most like the biggest thing that make us sad is not expressing ourselves.
Yes.
We're in a situation where we have been treated in the wrong way. We want to say our suggestion at work. We want to say no to something. We want to express our desire, express what we want, and we are silent. And this like thought like that you didn't express don't go away. It stays like a bee.
Yes, it keeps on just going round in your mind.
So expressing yourself. And podcast like is very good in this, like it gives you a platform to express yourself, express what you believe in, what you stay with the people. Like I have a discussion with the people that you want to have a discussion with.
Yes.
So self-expression also as a big part of being happy.
Ali, this conversation has literally been, I thought it was going to be very legal about the law and like the process, which we've talked about. And I think that's given so much clarity. And it's taken me back because, you know, when you're in it, it's such a blur. I was like, yeah, I couldn't remember this and this and this.
You have a bird's eye view now.
Yeah, like now I remember it all so clearly, like the pre-conversations, the advice, the different options, and then obviously making the decision. And even the funny things of going through, because everything was virtual for my divorce, which I was grateful for. But just going through that, like attending a court virtually and speaking to a judge and the translation. So there's so many steps, but it wasn't as scary thanks to having the right type of lawyers, I think, for sure, and the right type of knowledge. And I think that's so important. And then just being able to touch on mental health and happiness and humanizing divorce, because people are like, oh yeah, you've got divorce, you'll be fine. I get a lot of those comments like, yeah, it's sad, but you'll be fine. I'm like, no, it's such a bigger thing. Now that divorce has happened, it's even more harder to face the reality of being in Dubai, 36, divorced with a toddler. So just, being able to speak to a lawyer that says, no, actually it is hard and we get it. I'm very grateful for this conversation. You've really put my mind at rest as well.
And I enjoyed it a lot also.
Thank you. Yeah. So I think that's a wrap. I think you've really helped me to kind of articulate maybe some of the questions that people have asked me and just normalize how I'm feeling right now. So I'm so grateful for your time.
Me too.
I feel like you've got the perfect advice for when you're ready to get married, Ali.
I know what to do. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ali.
Thank you for inviting me.
No worries. Thank you.
Let's Talk DXB. Real conversations by real people.